This is Jonathan. Spoke to you guys a little while ago. I'm the Swellers drummer. And this is Legs from Every Time I Die. He used it the Power Man 5000.
Actually, I used to use a bunch of different Vater sticks, I think from the Rock to the Chad Smith Funk Blasters, and those are all great, but I've always been looking for a little extra reach and also sweating all the time. I usually lost a lot of sticks every show we played, and the great thing about the new Power 5B is it kind of took care of both of those things. It had a little bit of an extra length, a little bit of extra thickness compared to a regular 5B, which helped a lot as well to get a little extra power out of things. And the fact that there's no lacquer on it at all, it's just straight wood, it soaks up most of the sweat, and I'm not losing sticks every night. And it's actually been working out quite well. I think I've been playing them for probably about 3 years now. So
we're in the IC Stars part of the Swellers bus. They're the other band where it's really messy, and the little kids like walk around here, and who knows what happens. So there's 15 bunks on our bus. I think 18 or 19 people ride it every day, because that's how much money we have, and we're cheap. So yeah, you know, we hang out, we drink water that's not actually Monster Energy, but it's actually water. And yeah, a lot of people come on our bus, like right now.
Yeah, you really blew it. You're blowing it. We also like to take the easy way out. We got a pretty good bus. It's nice and clean, and we brought our own trailer actually. It's the one with the Velcro tape holding it together right now. So yeah, we take the cheap way out as well.
When I was growing up, actually how I started playing drums is a weird story. My brother played keyboard when he was 7 for like 3 years, and then he wanted to play bass guitar. My dad said, that's kind of dumb, like why would you want to just play bass, like play guitar? So we go into a guitar shop, and it's one of those old mom and pop shops where the really cheap drum sets are super overpriced. So we go in there, my dad's like, you know what, like if he's gonna play guitar, you should play drums. And all I said was, okay. So he got me this drum set, and it kind of just sat around. My brother and my dad knew how to play beats before I even could. And then I started taking lessons for 3 years, and it was from like a classically trained jazz musician. And I learned all the rudiments, you know, like everything from like the double stroke roll to like all the stuff in a Buddy Rich book. So you know, people like Buddy Rich were like obviously the early influences. And then I was also into punk rock music, and I started playing along the CDs, and that was definitely what taught me dynamics, taught me how to play like different kind of beats and stuff like that. So even though they're more of a current band, this band Millencolin, it's not the most crazy drummer in the world, but they have a record called Pennybridge Pioneers, and that's kind of how I learned how to do punk rock drumming. And then, you know, people from like the band No Effects, like Eric, their drummer. And then over the years, it's actually varied a lot. The drummer RX Bandits is amazing, really technical, crazy stuff. The drummer of the band Refused. Pretty much like, I like people who add their own flavor into things that shouldn't normally be there. So that's what I kind of try and do with our stuff. We have some really straightforward stuff, but I'm always trying to like add in some extra things live. And yeah, so I think taste-wise, even in music, that's definitely changed a lot over the years. So I'm just trying to incorporate everything I can into our music now.
When I started playing drums, probably typically like most drummers and young kids, just started whacking on pots and pans and making as much noise as I possibly could as a kid, and started building kits out of like Tupperware and boxes and putting chunks of tape to change the sounds and stuff like that, because I never had a drum kit as a kid. I remember one time actually building a kit out of a Christmas tree stand with like a hubcap on top of it as like the hi-hat, and I had this old cheap like Sears kid drum kit pedal on top of that, using it on like a box. And finally I think it was like my principal or something, I don't know why, because I was a terrible kid, lent me the school drum kit over the Christmas holidays, and then my parents kind of got it. They're like, yeah, you can actually play a little bit. So they finally went out, and I think I got my first kit when I was in grade 7, I think. And my grandfather was always like a huge jazz buff. He played keyboard, played harmonica, got me into guys like Gene Krupa, Buddy Rich, Lionel Hampton, all this, Benny Goodman, obviously not a drummer, but great musician. Yeah, I got the Gene and Buddy going here. It's kind of from my grandfather there. He's the one who inspired me, got me started. I remember when I was a kid, he was like, you will never be as good as Buddy Rich. And I was a bit of a troublemaker and had a bit of an attitude. And I was like, whatever, Grandpa. I remember I used to trying to learn to play as fast as I possibly could, and I wanted to go in the world's fastest drummer competitions and all that kind of crap, and never really got it. I remember working at a drum shop, and all these guys were into like John Bonham and dudes like that, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I'm like, this guy can't play. I'm like, check out this blast beat I can do, man. This is pretty rad, and look how fast I can play paradiddle. And then finally, like, it took probably maybe like 9 years into playing drums to finally get what groove is and feel is. And since then, I'm into drummers like a lot of those gospel guys right now are really blowing me away. Really into that kind of stuff, and kind of giving up on speed and all those kind of. I still listen to metal and I like metal, but I play heavy music all day long, so I've been kind of trying to go to stuff like that, get back into jazz, realizing probably nobody's going to be as good as Buddy Rich, and just be a humble dude and learn as many styles as you can.